ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Star Ladder America. We've got our second best of three of the day coming up here. compLexity Gaming versus NoT today. We had a quick opening series. It was a stomp. 2 17, 19-minute games. Wowza, Team Tinker's looking good. But here we're looking forward. I'm Zyori, joined remotely by Blaze. Blaze, good sir, how you doing today?
Doing really well, man. Looking forward to this matchup and to see how these kind of new shuffling rosters will compete against another at this kind of prestigious event. Obviously, we've been going season by season, seeing some really great games throughout Star Ladder, and now seeing the American portion of it, we get to see those up-and-comers, man. We get to see those that are really dedicated to the scene, that want to break through, and maybe with some friendly faces. Of course, like, you've got a couple members of compLexity still on the same team here, Z-Freak and Swindlemelons, but I think really the one that a lot of people are going to be looking out for is that offlaner, Simba, Fly My Schneckle, the Lion King, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be a beast.
Yeah, he goes by an array of different names. Now he is TLK. I guess that is supposed to be the Lion King. It's a totally different squad. Not the compLexity Gaming I think of. I still think of Moon Meander, Bloody Nine, those kind of folks. So the brothers still sticking true to the course. Swindlemelons and Z-Freak. We'll see how they fare up against a NoT today, like you mentioned, also changing roster here. Our overlays for Star Ladder not updated to the latest of NoT today. There is no longer Mihawk, Iwo, or Masoku on this team. The only two members that are the same from when we saw them over at the Summit 2 are Smash and Mystico. Everyone else is different. We've got Ifrit, Van, and someone who's not tagged properly. I don't know. You have to remain something or other. So Mystico drafting today for the Radiant, and it will be Swindlemelons drafting for the Dire.
It's actually going to be interesting. You have the right to remain Stupid, I believe is his alias, but essentially he's a private profile, has only played 4 official games on that account, period. Just looking up his Dota buff, there is no pub records. There's only 4 games with NoT today. He's had a 50-50 run with them, so this mystery man might be a nice little wild card up their sleeve. But we've seen NoT today do a good amount of work with their core roster. Obviously, Van or Slarky is the guy that a lot of people have been talking about. He really has up their mid to late game presence, just the way that he plays the game. He's still very aggressive in his stance, but he still is going to be able to make sure that he gets farm on either creeps or heroes to really give them that carry impact. So we'll see what he's on.
Slarky, that is a name that sounds familiar to me. I guess he has a name change or something. I didn't realize he is now going under Van with 2 N's. I can't keep up with all these name changes, man. Bulba's turned into Flo. The world is upside down. What's happening, Blaze?
10 seconds.
People just like changing up their names. It's the kind of beauty of the internet there, I guess, because, I mean, obviously you generally have to pay for that in government prospects, but you can just do it with a quick keystroke if you really feel like it. And people kind of, I guess, want to reinvent themselves when they feel like they're in a bit of a rut. They might find an opportunity and a revitalization and kind of establishing a new brand for themselves. So maybe that's the best way to really put their best foot forward here.
All right, well, maybe one of these days old Greg Laird will change his name from the worst handle on the internet, What I Ship TV. All right, so first pick, Vengeful Spirit from compLexity Gaming. NoT today, pick up Lion, Troll, Warlord with their first 2. Nothing surprising about any of these picks, all straight in line with popular heroes in our meta. compLexity ban out the Earthshaker first. That stands out a little bit alongside the Bat Rider, NoT today taking out Shen Sniper. Earthshaker can be pretty damn annoying. Maybe thinking about a Faceless Void pick or something. Okay, there it is, an Enigma pickup.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense here. Looking at compLexity's most recent drafts with this roster, they've been prioritizing supports a lot, usually picking 2 supports in the first phase, which is kind of uncommon. Usually you do 1 support in phase 1, 1 support in phase 2, but here they always commit at least 1 ban to supports, and they've been doubling up a lot. So Venge and Enigma here together, it's kind of like the Venge Bat Rider that we've seen from them, where you can guarantee that channeled effect, but still might run into some issues with long-range stuns. Not today, actually. I want to talk about their different styles, because it's actually pretty interesting to examine what Mystico drafts against the South American teams versus the North American ones. For the most part, drafting against South American teams, Mystico is more drafting about just high damage output. I mean, they even pick Ursa Zeus. Like, they're really just emphasizing kill, get really aggressive, and get really active early. Whereas up against North American teams, we've seen a lot more disable-oriented lineups where they've just been about controlling the fights and winning in a more stabilized manner. And I'm not sure if that's a metagame thing between the 2 regions, or if that's an underestimation or overestimation of their opponents.
That is an interesting trend to take a look at. It does seem that some of the lesser developed scenes tend to be more aggressive. We saw that in the Korean scene. I remember casting some of the first seasons of KDL, and it was just all 5 heroes top at the first 10 minutes, just TP in and kill after kill. So I don't know. Some of what I've observed, it seems like there's a level of maturity that comes in as a Dota player with that safe play, you know, to resist that urge to go to the high ground when you don't have that big enough advantage, that kind of stuff. So maybe that's some of it. Like you mentioned, it could be a little bit of arrogance against the scene that they know perhaps a little bit better. Maybe they're the big dogs in that front, so just try to bully them down with face rush type strats. But Troll Warlord, a good hero for that. I feel like I don't get to see Troll very often because he's banned out so much.
And an interesting one they've been running with the Troll more frequently is actually a Queen of Pain, because she actually has pretty good right-click output. Her int gain, her agi gain, it's substantial, and you can build her multiple different ways. I've actually been seeing that more and more, and it's worked out pretty well. Troll and Queen of Pain's not bad. Obviously, the Troll Shadow Fiend is the thing that's really hit the metagame hard most recently, and that is still in the pool, but they might be a little bit worried about the Enigma disables. I mean, Troll and Shadow Fiend have kind of that limited range factor. Like, there's the E-Raise, which will obviously give you a little bit of an extension there, but for the most part, Shadow Fiend and Troll like to be right there in the thick of things, and Enigma can capitalize on that pretty heavily. So kind of giving them that buffer with the clockwork, saying, okay, well, worst case scenario, we get a battery assault tick on Enigma, or if we get a really good line of sight shot, we can actually, even through BKB, disable him with the clockwork. There's a lot of potential there.
Yep. Absolutely. I always look for a clockwork pick against an Enigma for the reasons you mentioned. And also, as Peter pointed out earlier, we saw this in the series earlier today between Leviathan and Team Tinker, that with Enigma in the jungle, Clockwork is a pretty hard hero to completely zone out 1v2, so it's almost guaranteed he'll find level 6 at a pretty timely manner, and that can be pretty scary once he starts moving around and controlling the map. So multitude of reasons why Clockwork works well against a dedicated jungler, especially one that of the Void Walker, Mr. Blueberry Man himself. Not today, maybe thinking about, this final, or their next core, they could look for a Faceless Void as well with that Earthshaker banned out. Very nice synergy with the Troll, not as much with the Clockwork, but, well, they're not going to need another core besides that Queen of Pain you mentioned, because now she's picked up by compLexity. Obvious, great synergy there with the Black Hole.
Yeah, a lot of damage potential there, obviously, and it's not like you can go one item to counteract this. Like, you're going to take pure damage no matter what, from things like Midnight Pulse, things like the Sonic Wave, and like a Clockwork up against like a magic damage output mid would maybe go like a Pipe of Insight as its second item. But in this case, there's no real good answer. You need a mech carrier as your second support, and otherwise you just need to build more tankier than usual. I mean, honestly, like in this situation, to even bother with a BKB on the Troll Warlord, like it's such a core item to pick up on this hero, but you're up against Venge, Enigma, Queen of Pain. It almost seems worthless.
It's a pretty bad BKB game for the Troll thus far, at least. Basically, Magic Missile, Scream of Pain, I guess Malefice you throw in there, but yeesh. It's a tough call. Might not be the easiest game for the Troll. So what do NoT today look for here? They need another support as well as another core. I threw out the Faceless Void for synergy with the Troll, but they could pick up something a little different, and they do. Ember Spirit, a Smash classic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Smash is mi pastor. I definitely expect a lot from him on this Ember Spirit, but the one thing I will note is that he doesn't really scale that well with attack speed. Like, this hero can do 0.2 damage or 0.2 attacks per second with the Sleight of Fist, and he will not be able to attack more rapidly than that, no matter how much attack speed the Battle Trance gives him. So I wouldn't say there's really heavy synergy with the Troll, but there is a lot with the Clockwork and the Lion. The Lion gets a Blink Dagger early, Ember and Lion can gank like crazy. The Clockwork gets initiation, Ember Spirit can follow through really well, and in the worst case, jump out. So he actually has a lot of quick pick potential, and we've seen a lot of styles where you just go in for the quick searing chains, you can set up a hook shot, or you can get the Lion there too, and you'll have a pretty good time. But overall, I just think that either an Orca Queen of Pain, or in this case, a built-in silence through Drow Ranger's Gust, it's just going to give him a lot of issues.
Yeah, so I've seen a couple times now teams do this where they fourth pick the Drow Ranger, and it's very interesting. Normally you see Drow when paired with that Visage, great split push, move around the map. We all know that combo well and good, and I feel like it's often kind of bait to throw away that fifth ban. If you're not really looking for the Visage, you have something else in mind, a lot of teams will be tempted to take it out. NoT today will not fall for the trap. They ban out the Axe here, I guess knowing that it's an Enigma Venge, there's no chance of core Visage or something, but it makes me wonder what compLexity have in mind here.
Yeah, you don't really want the Visage against the Ember Spirit anyways. The Sleight of Fist
Yeah, I
will
guess
just
that's
destroy those
true.
birds pretty quickly. Not the
Good point.
earliest levels, but later on when he actually has a damage item or two, it's just kind of a nuisance more than anything else. So,
10
yeah,
seconds
overall, I
remaining.
don't think the Visage is the pick here for the point that you mentioned and the
5
counteraction
seconds
of a couple
remaining.
heroes. But beyond that, obviously they can get a really good initiating offlaner. I mean, the
Reserve
Tide is
time.
still in the pool. That's a Simba classic, or TLK, as we should probably start calling him, I guess. But he's played a lot of
TLK.
Nyx Assassin recently, which is not bad against this lineup here. Any good continuous disable on the Troll Warlord will frustrate him quite a bit. So that's a good ganker and counter ganker. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
I don't know. The real question, oh my, well here we go. Skywrath Mage for not today. A guy that's fallen off a little bit, but still quite potent. Big damage on that ulti, great zoner. But the real question is TLK the Lich King or the Lion King? I'm not so sure. I know Simba, he likes lions and Disney, but at the same time, the Lich King is just so much cooler.
Debatably, I would say that like The Lion King is the best movie of all time. So cool factor times 1,000 here, and props to him for that. If that is, I like. I don't know if you've seen the movie like within the past few years, but if you go back having only watched it as a child, you're missing out. You have to watch it like as at least a late teenager, adult,
Really?
and that movie is so inspirational. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10. That is an amazing flick. It's not just a Disney film. It is a lifestyle.
Is it on 101 Dalmatians level? Because that, my friend, I think takes the cake. The
Oh,
1969 version, come on, dude. They had to draw all those little dogs. Do you know how many spots that is? All those freaking Dalmatians? That shit was insane. They did that with a ruler, Blaze.
They went to Africa for the Lion King to learn the animals. Like you do take a trip downtown to find some Dalmatians. I don't think that even cuts it, man.
Man, back in the day. All right. To each his own. There's plenty of Disney flicks to go around. But here we go, getting into game number 1. I gotta fix my in-game camera again. You know, Coddle Guy's got this great config file, and I don't know how he controls the camera with his decel so high. I flame it every time, and it's not gonna stop until I make my own config file. It's also fun because I'm casting from his bedroom, so there you go.
Excellent.
So, Blaze, Viper, that final pick for complexity. We didn't really talk about it because TLK took over the conversation. How dare he? There's your Swindle hero. Most likely headed to the mid lane. He's got a couple of pulled tangos. Should give old Smash a run for his money on that Ember Spirit. I like this pick to round off their draft.
Yeah, but it makes me question how the lanes are going to break down. I mean, somebody has to go to the off lane, right? I mean, the Enigma is right now the best person to bring in that area, and he does have some tangos to start, but he still will probably go back to the jungle pretty soon. So overall, I guess they'll be able to pull back the lane frequently with the demonic conversion, and that will give somebody the experience they need. But all heroes but Venge would benefit a lot from gold, and they're not going to get much gold in the bottom lanes. So I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to really win the early game, even though they have great farming heroes like the Viper and the Enigma, which are amazing in the laning stage. It still just seems like they are going to have to either micro the hell out of those Eidolons in the hands of Simba, or they're going to have to do something a little bit different than what we see here.
Yeah, well, let's see how these lanes settle down for not today. They will go all over this top bounty rune. They will secure. It looks like they might grab both of them here. Absolutely. The Troll Warlord grabs bottom. Ember Spirit gets top.
Is this a support quap?
Start. Is it? Let's take a look here. Z-Freak is usually on more of a supportive role. She's got no items. So who's the core then? Is it a... Okay, core Dro up top.
Yeah.
Viper here. Offlane Enigma. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, so that's the answer here. It's just Queen of Pain won't get farmed this game. You'll just leave her to get a level 6, maybe level 11, and play her kind of like a support Zeus. She has more mobility than Zeus, which is really nice. And again, the attack speed and the base attack time and attack animation of the Queen of Pain is really good. So in general, this Drow Aura is going to give her the damage she needs. So she might not be too tanky, but she's not going to be just like insta-killed by the clockwork, and she's overall going to be able to maneuver better. It's like, yes, she will be killed off by a Hex Blink or a Skywrath Silence, but what support isn't? Like, I actually think this hero might be able to do some good work if they practice it pretty well.
Yeah, there is a lot of utility in the Shadow Strike, no doubt about it. The Blink gives her a great escape mechanism. I'll be curious to see how it works out. I don't want to prejudge it. I'm still struggling to really see why her over pretty much any other dedicated, like over a CM, for example. You know, give your team some extra mana. We'll see. I'm very curious. The offlane Enigma is also worth talking about maybe in a little more detail. Not something we see too often. Of course, you can deny, get some lane control with the demonic conversion, and having all those Eidolons is a nice farming tool. It does give you some last hitting power. Of course, you have to be careful not to feed them away, but what are the primary advantages, I guess, of putting Enigma in the off lane when this hero is regarded as basically the fastest jungler in the game?
Well, first of all, you take away the risk of getting your jungle warded. Like, you could just put a stamp of approval on the fastest jungler in the game, but if all those camps are blocked off, then that can just be a failed strategy by itself. But along with that, the Enigma gets to kind of fill the role that a Lich does with the sacrifice. Demonic Conversion could take that experience and gold away from their carry, and in general, that just means the Drow's going to get farmed much faster than that Troll Warlord. Then again, you of course are able to guarantee some good experience onto the Enigma because of his just early position on the lane, pulling it back constantly. And the final point is that whenever the supports roam away, you get to wreak havoc on that carry. Like, you can actually micro your Eidolons, especially around like when he hits level 3, he's gonna have 2 points in the Eidolons, and those hit hard. I mean, that's like, you can think of Lone Druid last hitting mechanics, where you can deny and last hit at the same time. Good, well microed Eidolons can do the exact same thing. And the final thing, of course, is you get to go fall back on the jungle in the worst case scenario.
Yes, that is one of the biggest things, as we've seen with offlaners these days. It's really all about having a recovery mechanism in the jungle or elsewhere, or being able to hit level 6 with a key ultimate, then move around the map and wreak havoc like this Clockwork will try to do this game. And Enigma can actually get the best of both worlds, sort of retreat to the jungle and also have a big ultimate that can destroy the other team. So now moving into the jungle, Troll should find some easy farm. Even picks up a Quelling Blade early on here. Ifrit or Ifrit. Do you know the pronunciation on this purple Troll, because that's a funky word?
Yeah, I'm not too sure myself.
Ifrit is what I'm going with.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll try. I don't know why.
He's
There's two
a
eyes.
Mexican player, so it's definitely Spanish in origin.
Ifrit, maybe. I think the I makes the same sound in Spanish. But Quelling Blade on Troll, not something you see all the time. So he should be farming well. Smash against the Viper. He's struggling, but about what you would expect.
Yep, and we're going to see smoke mid very early out. The Troll's got all the space in the world, and they know it, so they want to go ahead and win other lanes. The Troll, with the Quelling Blade, can do Roche a lot earlier. He can do the jungle perfectly fine. He's going to have a good time, but Swindlemelons, maybe not. They already start off with Concussive. This Hex will cause him some issues too, but he's so far into the tower, and they get the TP.
They want to go for it, though. The big bad bird comes in, throws out a magic missile. Chains on 2. They'll get the first blood on the Venge. Do they find another here? Swindle will start to man up. He wants to find a counter kill. He'll get 2. Oh, my mama. It's going to be 3. Swindlemelons lives the tango. Regen keeps him alive. It's a triple kill for the Viper. And what started as good news for Not Today quickly backfires into a spiral of doom. This Viper is going to have a damn good game.
Yeah, if the initial Earth Spike hit on 2, that would have been a different kill. That would have been still the Venge kill, I think maybe 1 turn because there was some damage in the tower, but it wouldn't have been nearly as devastating as it was. I mean, he just got a 3 minutes power treads on top of his Wraith Band. But he's
gonna be level 6 soon too. Smash only 4. He's got no getaway here.
Gosh.
Oh, Searing Chains come out. A little lag spike there. Does connect on a few. Swindle, he's still going for it. He goes to the high ground. Mystico comes in. I think Smash might still be done for. Maybe not. They want to keep fighting. The big bad bird, he's going to go down now. Can Swindle do it again? It's a 1-on-3. He gets the lion. I think he might be dead this time. No, the bird, he's just got too much this time. Is it enough damage? It is. They end the streak, and you have the right to remain stupid. Ends the streak.
Yeah, they really needed that return kill, otherwise it would just be a disaster in the middle. Like you're saying, he's got his 6 already, so he's going to start controlling the Ember. If the Ember doesn't have a spirit back behind his tower, he's always going to go down, because it's just obviously the slow affects the Fire Remnant activation, and otherwise he's just not the quickest hero on his feet without boots. So yeah, the Viper's gonna have a really fun time, and the supports are gonna have to commit more and more due to that error in the first place. Like I was saying, the Earth Spike hitting on 2, you stop the Venge stun, you get more damage out, but just hitting on the Viper, he gets to fall back, he gets to heal up a bit, and then he tanks through it in order to go for the turnaround. But up top, we are gonna see another smoke come through, and this one has to be clean.
All right, boots on both supports. Skywrath benefiting big, already up to 900 gold. Can they get the Dro Ranger?
Oh,
ZZ nice with a nice gust, and he'll be okay. Nicely played.
Even if they get, I mean, they could get the Hex there, of course, but it's too far into the tower. At that point, you're just diving, and you're feeding even more. They've already made mistakes that they couldn't afford, and that's brutal. But
luckily, they've learned their lesson, it seems, about diving towers and this early into the game.
So look at their lane rotations now, though. The Quap is actually going from a semi-supportive role with the fact that she didn't prioritize her item progression at all, to saying, hey, I can at least sit and experience range patrol, get 9 creeps for myself.
Okay, so I still don't understand why they didn't just do this from the beginning. I mean, Enigma could be even further ahead now. He finds level 6 at a pretty good timing, but would have had it around this time anyway if he starts in the jungle, if not a little bit sooner. And Z-Freak, I feel like, could have gotten at least this much out of the offlane by now. Halfway through level 4, Clockwork's at just about the same amount of experience, so...
Well, there's a couple reasons for it, and it mostly comes down to what Not Today's supports would have done if they had seen the lanes the way you're talking about them. If they had seen a Queen of Pain bottom, they just would have sat that lane, zoned her out with the Lion, didn't even have to roam the mid. And they would have been happy just to keep the Queen of Pain down for the count. Another thing you were talking about in the draft is the Queen of Pain doesn't really offer that much as far as early game, or sorry, the Enigma doesn't offer that much as far as zoning out the Clockwork, but just even the threat of the Shadow Strike plus Magic Missile has to give the Clockwork a little bit of pause for concern, where the Enigma wouldn't.
True.
The final thing I'll mention is they wanted to scout the jungle, make sure the creeps are spawning, and as soon as that was a sure thing, that's when the Enigma made its move.
Oh, that's a really good point. Not Today did not choose to invade the jungle, but if they had, it could have been a more efficient opener for the Enigma. That's actually really worth mentioning here. So the Troll Warlord, he's still getting a lot of farm, though, as you'd expect. He's been pretty much left alone. He's the only one farming well. This is a battle through the trees here. Z-Freak is...
He's off the map. He's off the grid. He's just hiding as deep as you can in the tree line, and this blink, giving him 1300 range, just makes it impossible, even with Quelling Blade and Mass Tangos, to try to actually tunnel through.
He doesn't even try to blink out. He just TP's top and says, all right, let's just fight, guys. Let's go for this Clockwork. Or I'll just farm the jungle.
It's almost impossible to get this hill with the haste. Like, obviously you have the Magic Missile. Malivus would be great, but haste for him, just too strong.
Yeah, Frost Arrow's not going to do much here, although they're still going to go for it. Whoa, you're going to be eating your words here, Blaze. They bring him down.
I mean, he played that a little weird, to be honest, like going that route where there was potentially a lot of perpetrators. Like, you look at the Radiant Vision, and they don't see a damn thing in that area. So
yeah.
I gotta say that if he had just fallen back the normal path, he probably would have been fine.
I'm tempted to agree with you. It was a pretty forward position even with a haste rune. But down bottom, they don't get that kill for free. Not Today. Grab a tier 1 tower. The last hit does go to the Troll. Mid lane now. Smash comes in. Searing Chains on the Melons. 2 supports to back him up. Lion's there. Skywrath further behind, but he's just too damn big. He's level 8, almost level 9. Maxed out Corrosive. Now they turn it around. The Birdman falls first. And Mystico might make it out. Yeah, he certainly will with double digits of HP. Nicely done by compLexity. They turn it around. And Smash will put down a Fire Remnant as he heads for
So, the Troll is getting free time on the bottom lane here. Took a tier 1, no deny. Now looking at the tier 2 very quickly thanks to the help of Fervor and Battle Trance. I mean, Z-Freak is here and they're taking the mid, but if they don't stop this Troll in his tracks, that's 2 towers and a Roche that's going to go his way.
Yeah, it's true. The Troll is getting pretty big, but at the same time, they are shutting down these other lanes. Smash has nothing right now. Bracer, Brown Boots, not even Phasies to try and catch up for these kills. He's forced to play super defensively, and, well, now we'll see a Might is picked up by the Viper. So, I don't know. I feel like they've kind of made up for it in the other areas. Sure, they've let this Troll get big, but the Viper's right there and the Drow not too far behind.
And it's nice to look at the tempo of this roster right here. I'm actually going to see a smoke from the Enigma plus the Drow. Is that a Roche smoke? Is that a kill Troll smoke? They know the Troll is really low because of Queen of Pain, but it is going to be Roche. They're going to beat him to the punch here. And I really want to talk about this Precision Aura and how it scales with the team. You've got 5 ranged heroes, including the Drow, of course, and then you've got these Eidolons, which are ranged units that within 900 units do benefit from the Precision Aura as well, or when she activates the global. And we're going to be seeing the Rocket Flare come out. This is kind of the jig is up, and they are going to fall out of this pit.
Yeah, I actually thought that was going to be a Troll gank, just heading down there to give him a little bit of love. It seems a little early to try the Roche if they don't have a medallion or anything else to do it quickly, especially if they don't bring the Vengeful Spirit in there with them for that minus armor. For the very reason why they backed out, so easy for Clockwork to scout. Looks like US East, right back to it. The Crabs nibbling on those packets, Blaze. I don't know what's going on here, but we got to get them out of the international cable lines. It's just too much. Pause after pause after pause after DC. We stare at another pause.
Yeah, and obviously that's something that any Dota spectator today is very familiar with. We've been getting a lot of that action very recently, and some of it is to unfortunate occurrences, but This is just a server, and it seems like it's just a mild hiccup. So, as far as like how ping will affect performance in the fights, I would say not today are a little bit more ping dependent. Getting the quick hexes or quick silences off would be huge. Obviously, the hook shot is probably the most impactful skill shot of the game. But by complexity, I mean, right now they have a draft that can almost right-click to win. They obviously cast a few key spells, but most of them are pretty wide in their targeting or pretty fine with delay, and overall, they're going to have a lot more potential. But Swindlemelon's getting caught out. This is a huge kill. A level 9 Viper if they can get it.
Well, man might be in some trouble here. Poison might still die in the well. No, he'll live. Swindly should die to that arcane bolt. But the big bad bird comes in.
Skywrath.
Oh,
all the
my.
experience for Skywrath. He's level 7 suddenly. He has his ultimate.
Oh, they're going to turn it around. The big bad bird gets zapped down. But he'll stay alive. Too much HP. Without the Ancient Seal, they don't have the damage. Wow.
There's 2 straight levels for Skywrath because he got the solo experience on that long-range kill. The kill creditor gets the experience and nobody else was in range, so he's happy to eat that up.
Most definitely. Hey, look at that recap, and it's just all blue there for the Skywrath Mage. Quap down bottom has found some space with the creeps, though. Gets level 6, so now they've got that bursty Sonic Wave. Maybe a necessity to try to kill this troll who has gone pretty light on the stats. Just an HOD Aquila and Phase Boots for now with a GG branch to boot. How's the Dro doing? Looks like Mask of Madness might just be in her future with the Morbid Mask already, just working on the Ancients. complexity doing a pretty good job just splitting the map and continuing to find farms. Still haven't seen anything on Swindle past the Midas, and Enigma pulling up some gold. Still no mech on this Dire side, which, well, I'll be curious to see if they get one, and if they do, who gets it.
Yeah, I think the Medallion was a pretty good decision, though, because they do put out a lot of physical damage, and they also were looking to snipe that Roche, and that's only going to happen with either a lifesteal item on your Drow, which you didn't have at the time, or the Medallion on your Enigma. And they went for the Medallion. They immediately got scouted out, so that gambit didn't really pay off. But now it's a tool on the table for both sides, and I am really curious if it is going to be a Blink Dagger or a mechanism next for TLK. But they're going to see action up top. We will just see the death of the Vengeful Spirit, and that's just good movement from some supports. Level 4 Lion and a level 7 Skywrath. Partners in crime, but what's wrong with that picture?
Well, one of them's a lot bigger than the other. Although it's kind of the same thing on the Dire side. I mean, you've got the Venge, who's pretty low level, sitting at only level 5, but you've got the Enigma doing quite well at 9, and now this Quap, who's the other quote-unquote support, is level 7, and she's pulling up some gold now up to 1200. Wonder if she'll look for maybe just an Ag Scepter. Could go some utility with like a Lincoln Sphere, put that buff on her friends. Orchid, always a popular choice on her when she's in more of a core position. I think the Ags is not a bad choice here, honestly. Troll, oh, he's in the Roche pit. They're gonna get here just in the nick of time. Can they snipe the last hit? You gotta go right now. Z-Freak goes in, goes down to the Radiant. Troll still gets the Aegis, but he's all isolated. He'll go down once and should go down a second time. They'll also kill his Hellbear Smasher. How unfortunate for complexity. If they were just a second earlier, they could have actually taken the Roche for themselves.
Yeah, it's Power Vision, though. They don't have a Rocket Flare. Obviously, not today used theirs to scout things out, and complexity just had to kind of guesstimate since they didn't just get to Wave of Terror into it. So that was unfortunate because that was a valuable resource on the table, but not today. Really surged to, I wouldn't say ahead, but an even position in this game. Obviously, you still got to look at the hand of Midas and say there's going to be a mid to late game advantage for the Viper overall, but not today. On the back of that, could really do some good work. They get good golden experience on their Troll Warlord. He's now level 11, which helps the entire team. The Blade Mail's out for the Clockwork, so he can man up a little harder and at least get a 1-for-1. And then, of course, the Skywrath being level 8 allows him to do so much more.
Yeah, looks like complexity are starting to group up, though. They wanted to pressure that bottom tier 1 tower. They don't bring it down. They do bait a reaction out of NoT today, though. Looks like Yasha coming for the Dro Ranger, and mech will be completed by the Enigma. Actually finds enough gold to grab it after the Medallion and the Soul Ring there. Radiant side, I think we just went over most of their inventory. The Blade Mail is the most recent addition on the Clockwork. Really good timing on that. Some nice beefy stats. Really helps buff up that mana pool a little bit more. He's having a pretty good game himself. He's been rather quiet, 0, 1, and 1, but maybe he'll start making a little space for his team before too long.
Certainly. And going back to that discussion we were having before about the Queen of Pains items there, she's going to just go for treads for now and obviously play a little part in the warding as she is playing that support role. Whoa, might go toe-to-toe with Skywrath. Luckily he has the treads, they blink out, and he's not able to connect with that clear vision granting concussive shot. But Yeah, we're actually going to be seeing him kind of just bide his time for now. The Aghanim is an interesting choice because it would give him the ability to farm where he doesn't have that option really right now. It's just a little bit of flat farm with the Scream. But I would actually say an Orchid would probably still be a really good pickup because you're getting us a silence on a hero that's going to be supporting, and it's going to be actually making Not Today judge whether or not they want BKBs again this game. Like we were talking against the heroes like Drow, Viper, Enigma, Venge. BKB is kind of lackluster. Swindle getting caught out. Should go down.
TLK's here, though. I don't know. Is it enough? Swindle still falls. It's just too much damage. Now TLK. Not enough mana for the ult, though he does have a Soul Ring. Some support on the way in, but we'll hold the hole for now. And unfortunately for Swindle, it will be another death on him as he gets roamed on in the jungle. This ward right here really helping him out. Lane ward from earlier, giving some nice intel into that pathway.
Yeah, and they put one down bottom just recently from the Skywrath, and obviously they still have one controlling the top rune. So overall, I would say Now Today have some good suppressing vision where the Ember Spirit can be safe to farm, to make little plays here and there. And obviously the Clockwork needs that vision desperately to keep on the offensive and try to keep finding pickoffs. Because as soon as Force Staff comes out on any of these either semi-carry or supportive heroes, there's going to be some issues for the Clockwork finding those kills.
All right, compLexity. Still haven't seen a black hole yet. Now with the mech, I think they could try to group up and put some pressure on these tier 1 towers outside of the mid, which they've already taken. I know in the past, one of the traps they've fallen into is being a little too passive at times, where they just want to farm, and sometimes you got to take that risk just to pressure your opponents. They had a pretty big lead early on, but slowly but surely, Not Today, are climbing their way back into this. Troll still topping the charts as the leading net worth farmer, and Smash, who had a very tough laning stage, has now recovered quite well. Pressuring the tier 1 mid. He has a Remnant down. He'll jump to it. Magic Missile will follow him.
Hero creep.
Whoa.
Oh, that sucks so much. 2 TPs, a lot primed for that counter offensive, and then little Radiant range creep is able to take it down. They drew to the Talon, if you will.
Little bugger. 4 hero smoke, though they'll rotate down through the Radiant jungle. It's a dire ward they smoked under, so they should be okay. Looks like the wraparound will commence onto the Lion. Definitely not your ideal target here. He does not have a TP scroll. Pulling up for the Blink Dagger. If they can kill him before he buys it, this could work out to be a very convenient timing.
Oh, it's going to be very close, though. If he saw that ward, he definitely had the sentry vision, so it was detected. If he was actually in a position to see the ward go down, he knows they're here.
He might have been. He was running nearby. He gets scouted out, though. The wave comes through. He's bought the Blink Dagger that took him a little bit too long, and sure, the Lion goes down, but that kill does not hurt nearly as much if it would have just 30 seconds earlier.
Base created, go top, battle transit up, and that's going to be more map control overall for Not Today. Now, compLexity need the tier 2 bottom in order to really even the odds, and they're going to probably have to commit the black hole to make it happen.
Yep, this tier 2 falling quick. Glyph, are they going to glyph it? That'll tell if they want to come back to defend. Maybe they just want to go tower for tower. They lose it. They save the glyph, potentially for the high ground if needed, but it won't be. Not Today have come back, ready to defend. Clockwork with a hook shot. Here we go. Right in onto the Dro Ranger. Smash comes flying through as well. Sleight of Fist on quite a few. Dro goes down first. Black hole's there, but it only catches Smash. Dro Ranger's already died. They kill Smash. He'll buy back instantly to get into this fight. Now Swindle falls. Z-Freak on the side in some trouble. They took down the Skywrath Mage for some consolation, but Not Today. Coming out way ahead is compLexity, getting nearly full wiped. Enigma, the lone survivor.
Yeah, and with that gank that they had in the Lion and how it turned out, I feel like that was still the right play overall for compLexity. They really needed that tower to keep this map under control to some degree. But it was just Not Today committing to the fight in a more effective manner. The buyback on Smash was huge. Getting him involved and just him knowing that his gold at that moment didn't matter that much. The fact that he wasn't like, 500 gold away from the Battle Fury helps your decision of, let's get back into this fight. Let's Remnant right back in. And obviously the fact that he had the Remnant up is a really important aspect to that play. But he just goes, yes, I'm fine with phase drums for the moment. I'll buy back. We'll turn this fight. And he ends up with a Perseverance at the tail end of it anyways, because they just get that much out of it. Like, he only loses 350 gold himself, and the team overall benefits at plus 800. So really good exchange. Obviously compLexity, they need to make things happen with this precision aura, with this committed push, but it's hard to get more than just 1 or 2 in the black hole against this team lineup. Like, Simba found a great timing where there were no disables at all. The silence was on cooldown, the Lion's disables were taken care of, the Clockwork had already done his thing, but at the end of the day, he could only catch 1 in the black hole, and they needed more.
Yes, sir, they do. Unfortunately, we'll be in another pause here. Looks like compLexity having some issues with their voice over internet protocol. Well, it's been an interesting game so far, Blaze. Although I can't click on my mini-map now. This is unfortunate.
Usually I just click on the, like, make a little box on the main map and it usually fixes that for me, but sometimes...
Make a little box, like hold down
yeah, just
Alt.
drag...
I can't do that either. Am I just bugged out here?
Oh well. You can still, it seems you can probably still draw on the minimap. That's the important thing. No. Camera
I can't
control.
actually. I'd like to draw at the minimap, but I can't.
Well, now Kato Guy's deceleration really becomes an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Alright, I'm going to reconnect here, since that seems to be a pretty significant handicap here for doing camera control. I don't know.
Fair enough. Just a quick reminder for those in Dota TV, obviously the Starlight ticket's in, so there are a few of you out there and appreciate it, but as Zyori is reconnecting back in, you guys will need to re-toggle the audio channel in the top right corner in order to hear him once again. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a solo cast from the co-caster, and that's no fun.
Oh, the bugs. There's more bugs. It was worth it. It fixed my issue, so there you go. It's all worth it, folks. SNY is up on the troll. Efreet doing pretty well here. Still, is he still #1 net worth? Yeah, he sure is. Woo, by a big bunch. About
Killing
2K
towers
up
all
on
day,
Swindle.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting the Roche last hit too. That's big.
Yep.
Good times for him. But I guess they committed to that, right? Like, they started this game and they said Troll will get farm, or whoever's in the safe lane will get farm. Generally speaking, Smash is mid, so they pretty much knew what they were getting themselves into. But the idea is, what do they do now at this leg of the game? 18 minutes and beyond. They knew that they'd have a farm Troll. They'd have a good movement against themselves, again with the Lion, the Skywrath, the Clockwork. They'd see some ganks and some pickoffs and stuff like that. But now, how do they rally and how do they find an effective game plan to move on forward? Well, first and foremost, they have to wait 150 seconds for the Black Hole as well as the Force Staff on Enigma. Those are two key things for TLK to really get involved in actual fights. Another thing is getting control of their jungle in terms of vision. Skywrath is going to buy a gem. If they can pry that from his cold dead fingers, that'd be awesome. Or talons, I guess they are. But the alternative is for them to just buy a ton of Sentry Ones. I mean, they just placed one here, and that's a perfectly fine position. But it just so happens they're missing out on an observer just south that's still up for a few seconds. And more importantly, this one to the east, which is giving a ton of intel for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how safe Skywrath plays. He's just got arcane boots and a couple of wards himself. So, I don't know. Getting a little rocky here for compLexity. About 2,000 net worth and experience, the lead for NoT today. They've got the luxury of kind of slowing this down and farming it up if they want to. I think they're not too concerned about if this takes a more passive turn, knowing that the Dro and the Viper are pretty far behind their Troll at least. This will be time for Smash to catch up. They really want him to get that Battle Fury, so he has a farm accelerator of his own. And, of course, with Ember Spirit, that is also a nice tool for fighting. Convenient how it doubles that way. Roche could become the focal point. I've lost my timer here, but how far off are we for the next one, Blaze?
We are looking at the timer within about 50 seconds here, so it could be just under 4 minutes, or it could be very soon.
Okay, I imagine Chol will want to grab that up in the top lane here. Smash goes in on the Swindle Melons, connects with some Searing Chains, so he does get Viper struck. He will hop back to a Remnant, since he can't find those precious
I think he can actually go
attacks.
for the kill here. Bottling up to full. He can just commit once more, but there is a lot of magic wand charges on this Viper.
He's up to 13, does have some drums also. There we go, the drums to try to make the getaway. And that little movement boost will be just enough. Smash throws out the Searing Chains, actually, and they don't connect.
Yeah, another aspect is, of course, he has the TP, so the second he gets Searing Chains, the worst case is he can try to Magic Wand TP with the Strength Treads on, and I don't think the Ember has the output to really break that down just yet, so we'll see. But yeah, that Roche timer, it's going to be a pretty long one here. I'm not sure if you see it now, but it is just over 2 minutes before we get to see the big bad boss man in the pit.
Alright, so no love for the Troll here, at least not in the next 2 minutes. Queen of Pain now picks up a Staff of Wizardry, so I wonder if it's just a utility Force Staff. I feel like that makes the most sense. I doubt it'll be a Dagon. Could possibly
I think that's most practical. Force Staff in this game is actually really important.
Yeah,
it's going to help people out of the Mystic Flare, out of the Cogs. even a bad steering chains or hex pick
Go,
off is gonna be
Swindle
avoided.
takes the finger, Smash up in front. He still gets a Viper Strike off, though. Smash barely lives, but he's pretty damn low. They'll continue to pursue. They cut down the trees. Mystico, he's definitely going down. Plenty of DOTs. Smash TP's home. Poison, just not enough damage.
Yeah,
So
like Force Staff would save you in this situation where the Queen of Pain gets caught in the cogs, gets silenced out, but it's just one thing where mini stun leads to silence, and that silence leads to a kill. So it definitely probably should be either the Yules or the Force Staff here, and it just depends on which one would provide the necessary utility.
Yeah, could be the Yules, but you trumped up the, or you sold the Force Staff very well, Blaze. I think that one definitely makes a lot of sense.
It's a more reactive item. Like, you get a Blink Hack stun, usually that person's screwed, but you have such key carries, like the Drow and the Viper, that you don't want that to be, like, the end of the game for you, is a no buyback carry just getting caught in the Hex. But if you have a gigantic Blink range, 1300, and then you can Force Staff them out, you at least have some hope to react to those situations.
Yeah. Up top, Smash just toying with him right now. He's put a Remnant down pretty far back in the lane near the side shop. So they're going to have to do a lot of crowd control to bring him down. TLK with the black hole stops him right as he comes out of the slight. They've got the damage, and it's the big bad bird that actually gets credit for the kill with that magic missile. Nicely played. And they find a kill on the elusive Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different ways to catch that Ember coming out of Sleight of Fist. You know his position or rebound, so we've seen, like, right when Ember Spirit was hitting the metagame, we saw a lot of Mirana. We saw a lot of arrows hit that Sleight of Fist rebound, but I think that might be the first time I've seen a black hole used just to commit to that Sleight of Fist rebound, and it is a worthy kill. Stopping that Battle Fury in its tracks and getting some much-needed momentum for complexity here.
They need to kill this Troll, though. He's really starting to get out of control. Even though they have a Midas on the Viper, Troll is still just massively out-farming him by a pretty big amount. He's at 13k net worth, a huge jump over everyone else. SNY, Helm of the Dominator, and now Scotty right around the corner, only about 1,200 gold away. He is getting massive, and once that Scotty comes out, he gets a lot harder to kill. I like his item build. Not the BKB, as we talked about, not a great game for it, but going for very big stat items at this point. Great against the Quap ult.
It is pretty good against the Quap ult, and I think that's going to be very powerful. Just overall, we know Scotty can crush people with the Troll, but I will hold my analysis as we're going to look for the final HP of the Roche and the next team fight.
Yeah, they're bringing him down quick. Dire will get it this time, but the hook shot in. Remember, there's no black hole. Sonic Wave on at least 3 heroes. Huge ultimate from Z-Freak. It's enough to win the Dire the fight. They take 2 right away. Queen goes down. Now Smash falls off to the side, and they get the Birdman, and that means a gem. 1 for 4, and I think they even keep the Aegis in tow.
Oh, yeah.
Who picked
the
it up?
Drow has it. She's going to hang on to it for a while, and they can push hard off of this. They're going to get at least 1 tier 2 tower here, and they're feeling a lot better about that situation. It was an interesting choice for the Clockwork to actually push Big Bad Bird up to the high ground. You do get to use a fancy maneuver with those cogs and the fact that he gets jumped off the cliff, but this is Avenge who can then swap somebody to that position and just take them out of the fight instead. So I'm not sure about the Clockwork's initiation, and overall, even though the black hole wasn't available, obviously complexity were ready for a fight.
Yeah, that was also just a brilliant ult from Z-Freak. It was level 1 when he used it, I believe, and he dinged 11 in that fight, but it did a lot of damage. Connected on most of their team, got him low, and then it was just all about the cleanup. Drow Ranger getting that Aegis means she can feel free to be a little more aggressive, and yeah, she put out a lot of damage in that fight as well. Looking at the graph, it's been all over the place, a roller coaster of a game, but that's by far the biggest swing we've seen yet, at least from one fight, and it is about 5.5, 6k net worth in favor of complexity. They've taken the biggest lead we've seen yet this game.
Yeah, most definitely. And obviously, Z-Freak does have to watch his own health, but now that he has this big ultimate that can be blade mailed against him, he doesn't have the BKB, probably won't this entire game, so he's only going to be using his ulti if he's near full health himself, or if he just desperately needs to use it to get the kill, even at the cost of his own life. But yeah, I mean, it's still a very valuable asset against this team, and it's going to continue to be the case, because 4 out of 5 aren't really that tanky. The Clockwork hasn't built for HP. Like, you'll go the Aghanim's now, but even then, that's not the most HP per gold effective item there is, and the Ember Spirit, he's not going to be able to mitigate or avoid any of that damage via Flame Guard. Like, usually you look at magic damage, you're like, no problem, but all this pure damage between the Enigma and the Queen of Pain goes right through Flame Guard, and beyond that, he's only got 1200 HP, so they can really work against that effectively, and only 5 armor. Like, this guy is going to have a hard game just surviving. Like, he has to stay back almost constantly and make sure he never gets silenced.
Yeah, he still doesn't have the Battle Fury either. That just hurts so much. They get this tier 1 or tier 2 tower in the top lane. Lion goes down as well. And it looks like they will just back off off the side of that. Mid lane is where that Lion died. Looks like Queen of Pain just bursted him down with an ultimate.
I think they're going to try to commit with this hook cooldown, and obviously they have the numbers advantage here, but we'll see how quickly they can rally. They'll connect with the hook on Swindle, but is that really somebody you can bring down with the help of 2 allies? It actually is something they don't even want to go for.
Yeah, they do the math and say, this doesn't feel worth it here. Let's just back it up, Slarky. Save it for another day. There's that Battle Fury finally, so perhaps Smash can start catching up as we talked about. It's also a great tool for fighting. Can put out a lot more damage, especially for defending high ground. Here's your hook shot mid, goes right in onto Z-Freak after he's already blinked defensively. He has the Yule Scepter, quite a few wand charges, but he can't use them. Smash has the damage, but now Viper comes in, Viper strike, and he hops to a Remnant. He'll live.
So, yeah, they're in a better position to take another Queen of Pain once more, but again, not as critical a kill as it could be. Delays her getting level 16, obviously, but overall, just a nice little pick that allows them to get some space again. They'll put some wards up, but you remember they're warding against a Gem of Truth site now. It's actually on the courier, no, on the base for now, but they can pick that up anytime they want, make a quick journey into their jungle, de-ward conveniently, and then put it back in a safe place. So we'll see how they choose to use the Gem of Truth site, but for now, it's kind of on standby. We do see Smash pretty active in the mid lane. He always loves to use these Remnants the way he is, and only a Gust can really bring him down. Like, the Gust from the Drow is what prevents that usage of the Remnant. The only other thing is, of course, that Black Hole.
Yeah, as we've seen. Troll now has the Scotty completed. 1,600 gold sitting in the bank. He's still farming away, holding that seat. Although now it's only about a 2k net worth gap between him and Swindle. So the tides are starting to shift as Dire continue to grab more gold, farm around the map, and this Hand of Midas pays off more and more. Enigma now gets a BKB, no Blink Dagger, but gets a Force Staff instead as his mobility option. All things considered, TLK pretty farm this game. And now Clockwork ult is all they have to interrupt him, I guess, outside of Troll Bash, but that seems...
No, that's not, you'd have to, like, put yourself on the very edge of your own black hole.
That's one of those very strange and obscure situations that should really never happen. Oh, chains on 2. Nope, no follow-up.
If they had the swap, it was almost in range. It was just on the edge there, but I think if TLK had actually Force Staff Big Bad Bird in, that would have been the swap and potentially the kill, but it's so hard to make that on-the-fly coordination. Anyways, yeah, BKB around is going to be really nice because the supports are just kind of rendered irrelevant. The line has to make a Blink Hex initiation, otherwise they're not going to be able to make the play they want. Like, you actually just get initiated on and they already have BKBs up, you can't destroy the person that you want to. Like, you can take a Avenge or a Queen of Pain out of the fight, maybe delay the Viper's activity, but overall those tools that you have on your supports, the Skywrath and the Lion, are pretty much rendered completely useless if complexity gets the jump.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And complexity will continue to stay a little more passive here as they sit back around their tier 2 mid, still working their Ancients pretty well. Looks like did they block out the Radiant Ancients and they had to counter it, or was that just a counter for a ward there? I'm not sure. But it does feel like
it's just a ward.
Okay, just the counter ward. It feels like complexity have been using their Ancients a little more effectively. Smash! Woo! Close call. Almost gets caught out there. Black Hole was available, but still jumps to a Remnant. And he lives!
Oh, so close. If that Gust connects, he's actually dead. Because it actually lasts a really long time now. It's up to 5 seconds. They get a couple slows on top of that, and they just crush him with the Chain of Disables. And obviously nobody else was near. But just on the lip of it, he will slip away. And yeah, it's going to be Smash to keep farming up that crit. He's going to go for the data lists, and after that, worry about the defensive items.
All right, Z-Freak, what's the item build here? Yule Scepter into BKB, it looks like. This support quap, utility quap, I don't know what you call it at this point. He's been farming quite a bit. I guess he's still on the 4, getting out farmed by the Enigma. A couple of key ultimates have kept him pretty relevant. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, we have some space for you. Go take it. And he'll get 16. He'll get his basic items. He'll be fine. But Lion going in for the kill on Viper. Both ultis committed. But he buys his BKB beforehand. So still a big kill. But he is able to buy out the key item beforehand. Down bottom. Now Smash in trouble. He's dead. Silence Sonic Wave. They actually Yuled a creep to get that started. But doesn't matter. The Gust is there. And they trade 1 for 1 around the map. Both carries die. I guess really better for complexity, mostly just because that BKB was bought by Swindle before he died.
Yeah.
That really makes that sting a lot less.
I'm on the fence about that BKB purchase being a really good thing for the Viper. Obviously, you want to spend your unreliable gold before you die. That's really important. But the nice thing about Hand of Midas is it generates reliable gold for your team. The fact that he's got 7 kills, 8 assists, almost all the outer tier towers contributed to his team gold, and then of course the Hand of Midas transmutes, he would have a buyback right now. He would have, even if he died, like he would have tons of reliable gold to fall back on, and he would have his buyback secured. Now it's going to be a long road to build that back up. Luckily, Viper isn't the most buyback dependent hero, but I will just say that it's not all sunshine and roses when you have to buy your BKB in that situation. You'd love to farm like 800, 1,000 gold on top of that, and then buy the BKB so that you have a clean buyback with tons of reliable gold. In this case, he expends it all, but he also loses nothing.
Well, now not today. Starting to get a bit more aggressive. They group up in the dire jungle. And look at all these wards here. They had one here. They reclaim it even a little bit lower so they can see where anyone's farming. They put a lane ward down. They want control of this jungle, and they have it right now. Dire have done kind of the same thing, though.
Like, they've kept the geometry site in this exact spot the entire game. No pickups, no scouting. They just say, as long as you guys don't have it, we're happy.
So, bottom, they want Smash. I reckon he's got a Remnant down somewhere. He should. It'd be very A-characteristic to not, but maybe it doesn't matter. Black Hole committed after the Yules. And plenty of damage to bring down the Ember Spirit. There you have it.
Yeah, Smash was already given a really hard draft to fight up against, but the way that Complexity are playing this is kind of rendering him irrelevant in this game. Like, he can hold high ground, and that's about all he can do, because otherwise they're just going to be able to pin him down, and that farming aspect of the Battle Fury has probably cost him more gold than it has obtained him, as he's just being very active, very involved in his
mid lane,
farming across the map.
Complexity rotate over, they TP into the tier 2, Gust out onto the Troll. They will back out, reset things. Now the hook shot across, swap out. It's Venge stuck inside of the cogs. She'll fall down pretty quick. Now TLK comes in. Dro up on the high ground. This Troll doing a lot of damage right now. Finger onto TLK. Now he's hexed up, but there's the Sonic Wave. Almost enough damage, but the Troll TP's home. Lion doesn't make it out. And not today. Don't lose as many as they could have. It's a support for support trade in the mid, but that Troll, about one arrow from death right there. Whew.
That was extremely close on many, many counts. I'm really surprised they went for that initiation because they had just lost their Ember Spirit for just the Black Hole, which Complexity aren't really entirely reliant on in this game. But in the end, they go for the initiation play. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that leaves Complexity in the better position to take Roshan. 2 TPs out were really close. The Clockwork TP'd away with like 200, 250 HP to spare, and then obviously the all eyes were on the Troll there as he nearly dies in the fountain. But he Satanicked, he right-clicked 2 or 3 times, and then he went for the TP out, and he did just barely make it as the disables on Complexity's lineup to cancel scrolls are pretty limited.
Yeah, the Dro Ranger, though, getting very big. Now she's actually surpassed the Midas Viper. Picks up the Butterfly now. There you go. It's totally completed. Aegis of the Immortal also in tow. The cheese did go to Mr. Viper, who's got another 2,300 gold to spare. Mid lane, Smash goes in onto TLK, but no follow-up, just harass him with that slight. And they will back out. So more big items coming out for Complexity. This Troll, he might need to invest in an MKB, but not really an item he wants to go for this game. He would love to do something with more stats, so I don't know what that is. Satanic Scotty.
Oh, he's good on stats, man. I mean, this SMY Scotty Satanic. I
so
think
go
he's
damage
pretty
now, is that what you think?
To go MKB now. Like, this is a perfect position to go for it, but he's not very close to it. Like, he's got 1,500 gold. He can get that within a couple minutes, but Complexity know that they're pretty much at their strongest in 30 seconds. They have the Aegis of the Immortal, they have the Butterfly with no MKB counter, they have BKBs at 9 and 10 seconds apiece, and they'll have all their ultimates. But for now, just forcing back Smash, and we'll see if they actually look to not only repel top lane, but then push in for some racks of their own.
Yeah, definitely. Also, an Aghanims has come out on the Queen of Pain. We saw that Ogre Club. I thought it may be a BKB, but Z-Freak switches it up and upgrades that Sonic Wave. He's also level 16, so it does a lot of damage. Here we go. Initiation right onto the Quap. Hook shot in. They bring down the Venge right away. Quap blinks out, and the Viper kills the Lion. Now it's Swindle versus 2. Silence from the Dro Ranger. Maybe they can kill the Troll. He'll just try to TP out, but the Yules is here. That'll interrupt it now. He gets left behind. In comes Enigma. They've got the stuns. They've got the damage. He's dead. Now Swindle lives as they turn it around onto the Birdman. Mystic Flare, not enough to cut through that corrosive skin. It's a 1-for-3 trade. compLexity coming out big once more, this time finally killing that troll.
It's going to be a really difficult setup for NoT today to hold the high ground in this position. It's still technically possible with the heroes they have. Some really cool hook, cog manipulation, some great usage of the Battle Fury Sleight of Fist. It's possible to hold this, but it's really difficult. So we'll see. They just want to delay it at least till all 4 are up. And maybe the troll has to buy back. But they definitely have to hold these racks. The 1 foothold in this base and compLexity will take this game away.
Here we go. High ground siege begins. Buyback on the troll. He's probably going to need it here. 35 seconds still. Tier 3 tower melting under the pressure of this team. At this point, the Drow Ranger's damage is pretty ridiculous when she's got that marksmanship on. That's a melee barracks down. Ranged barracks to follow suit. compLexity still have a black hole. They can try to do something here. Aegis still standing. They'll play it safe and back out. Only 2 minutes left on the Aegis.
And not even going for the hook shot on the retreat here. They know that the Aegis and Cheese is just a little bit too much for them to deal with, and they won't lose the buyback on Troll, which is important because obviously we're talking about that MKB being so critical here. But at the same time, that's you losing your 1 lane of racks as an Ember Spirit. It makes it much more difficult to hold the other positions because they can just push out multiple lanes. And as far as like using that Sleight of Fist, Battle Fury on the high ground, you constantly have to look at each lane that's pushing in. Luckily, it's mid and not like top lane versus bottom where you have to jump across the map over and over and over until you don't even have remnants anymore. But no matter the case, we're going to see some action top.
Smash about to get jumped on here. Viper Strike flies on through. He does disjoint it until it catches up to him. Can't disjoint the nose.
Miss.
Here we go. Hook shot. Yep, not going to be there, but Swindle Melon's still alive. Just tanks the finger. Now turns on to Van with a BKB on. He's going to go down. I think one more. No. He just barely lives. Smash comes in to try and slow him up. They chase down the Skywrath on the other side. Quap will get credited with that one. A defensive hook shot back from Slarky. It looks like just a 2-for-0. The 2 big cores live unless Z-Freak. Can he find something here? He's blinking forward. He's got an ulti in 15. He bumps into the troll and says, yeah, I've had enough. Let's get back to friendly territory.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing the Geometry Sight stick to NoT today's fingers since that fight they took in Dire Jungle earlier, but they lose so much in terms of map control, and they still haven't taken care of this Aegis. I mean, there's going to be a Drow Ranger with the evasion advantage, a second life, and a 9-second BKB. It just seems almost insurmountable, but it all comes down to getting the big hookshot initiation whilst keeping the Enigma under control as well.
Now the high ground siege continues, perhaps from compLexity. They're grouped up as 5, and there we
they
go
just
on
lost
the map.
the Aegis, so they'll play it a little bit safer. Maybe wait for the next cycle. 1 racks for this cycle is still on the temple they're looking for.
Yeah, 2 sets of BOTs now. 1 on the Drow, 1 on the Enigma, and they'll send Zizzy down here. They'll start to just push the creep wave in. They'll play it a little more defensive again. Maybe waiting for TLK to get his Hex, Shivas, whatever this Mystic Staff will turn into. So much farm on this Enigma.
That's interesting. I could see it working either way. Without a Blink Dagger, the Hex seems weaker. But also, looking at the Shiva's Guard aura, that's usually the nicest thing about it, and it only puts kind of like a small dent into the Battle Trance bonus attack speed. Like, you're not cutting these people's DPS down by 40%. It's more like 12 to 20%, somewhere in there, depending on the numbers, depending on who's attacking what. But it's still good armor, it's still good efficiency, and he's going to finish it out. It's also neat that you can actually use it while channeling. So you jump in with force tap in with the BKB Black Hole, you can actually Shivas with that already in progress.
That's a strange mechanic. I didn't know that. I would not have guessed that. Okay. Power treads interrupts. If you swap treads, that interrupts channeling,
oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's completely different, dude. 8 stats versus glowing, shiny, frozen particles.
It's way different, but it seems like it's in the same ballpark. I think. I don't know. That's a pretty big active to use during channeling. That's a fun mechanics tip. Look at you, Blaze.
Just one of those things, but it's Dota. I can't really excuse it. It's just they stack up all the fun little odds and ends, almost trivia mechanics. But in this case, it might actually be a nice little addition. No matter the case, compLexity looking pretty good. Obviously, if they are playing patiently, playing passively, and holding all cooldowns until the Roche fight, all they need is 1 ward down, and they're guaranteed a really good Roche engagement. But Van looks for the hookshot away, doesn't find it, and just goes on 2.
Okay, teammates are here. They get the bench kill first. Now the Troll's starting to drop the hammers on Swindle. They've taken out his Lion. And Quap silenced up, won't be able to find the Skywrath. Now the chase is on for the Troll Warlord, and he is in deep. Oh, mama, nowhere to go. It's going to be a 3-for-1. They got the first kill on the Venge, and then after that, things just started to implode. Black Hole still online, and with that, compLexity look towards the base. Troll, he's got the buyback.
Yeah.
This time, I think he's going to have to use it.
He's spending his money smart, but unfortunately just not having the items he needs at this point in time. Like, I love Scotty's Satanic SY. I think that gives him a lot of punch. Like, I wouldn't even complain about the Midnight Pulse scaling against health because he lifesteals so much, but end of the day, you just need that MKB. You need to expect her out to go to the Butterfly, and he doesn't have it when he needs it.
Buyback used by the Troll Warlord. Tier 3 tower goes down bottom. They'll start focusing on the barracks. There is a glyph to try and hold here. Range go down. Melee now the target. If they don't glyph this, I don't know what they're saving it for. It's got 10 HP. There we go. Swindle goes up to finish it off. Oh, maybe that's why they didn't glyph it. That's unfortunate.
Well then, that is definitely a bad time for it. Not much else to say there, but if they had glyphed and committed, it would have been an extremely difficult fight. Like, sure, they have all 5. They're not fighting against Aegis, but they really just don't have a great way to deal with the bigger heroes here. The Viper, the Drow, the Enigma, those heroes are just going to do insane work no matter how the fight proceeds.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. But at the same time, I don't know that not today we're going to stand there and let their barracks fall without fighting after the Troll buyback. You know, at this point, it's like, all right, Troll buys back to fight to defend the barracks. Now, he just bought back and nothing happened. That really hurts not today if their plan was to mount a defense. So, eek, bad time for a DC. I think compLexity get tossed a bone a little bit there for a very easy set of barracks.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest cost is the buyback there, and you're absolutely right on that. If they bought back, they definitely had the game plan to defend, and that didn't work out for them. Vian actually going in deep here. They get the ward vision just in time, but they still have the Wave of Terror swap.
Okay, they're gonna find him. The Shivas comes out. It won't hit him, but there we go. Magic Missile, Viper Strike on top of the Midnight Pulse, but he hook shots to the Mud Golems. They're not gonna save you, little buddy. There's a Yules to interrupt your TP. An elusive little rattle trap he is, but will not survive to tell the tale on that one as he falls once more with no buyback available.
This is just a desperate situation for them now, holding the single lane of racks against a really good pushing lineup and a team who can take the 5-on-5 with good usage of ultimates. It's dangerous, and with the Satanic, I'd say desperate. Yeah, the MKB is not going to come out this game, and Ifrit, he's got to pretty much work with what he's got, but even then now, he's in a bad spot. The Yules, he's dead, and that was buyback. He's diebacked, and now he is done. There is no way they hold it without the Troll.
There's no hope here. Nobody in sight. No towers to come to. Sonic Wave comes out. He turns and says, "You want to fight? I'll fight you." Well, maybe not. I'm not even going to get off an auto attack. Easy pickings here for compLexity, and now that they're interrupting these TPs, it's just not much he can do. Now a full AC up on the Viper. They don't even want to fight it. GG is called. Well played. compLexity take game 1. TLK with a victory black hole there. Congraties to the Dire side. Not today. They put up a fight, but can't take the win.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would attribute much of that to the support Quap. It was interesting, and I'm not sure what hero better plays a 4 position that can also go into a lane solo and survive by juking all the way into the bottom right corner of the map. But even still, it's an interesting one. I don't know if you would go for I was going to name a bunch of kind of team fighting melee heroes, but I guess the main idea is getting that precision aura out on everyone. So I'll just leave it at that. Z-Freaky put out some good damage in the fights for sure, and it made it difficult for compLexity Gaming to itemize. So they didn't know if they wanted BKBs against all these Magic Community piercing ultimates, or if they wanted to prevent themselves from getting Yules and getting stunned when they go for the TPs.
Definitely. So, all right, folks, we look forward to game 2. This is a best of 3 series. Not today. Need this win to take us to an ace match and have a shot at winning this best of 3. I'm Zyori, joined remotely by Blaze. Thank you for joining us here on Star Ladder Season 12. We'll be back after this short break.
G2